Hello and welcome to episode 115 or 115 of the Perth to Paisley podcast, a podcast dedicated to Heart of Midlothian Football Club, who are enjoying an absolutely wonderful week. And joining me, Adam Kennedy, to discuss the Jambos' 5-0 win over Aberdeen at Tynecastle and another 3-0 Derby demolition, this time at Easter Road, is Daniel McIver. McIver, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. I won't lie to you. It's going very, very well. I didn't even think of the fact that this is 115. That's amazing that you've picked up on that.
Thanks
so
very much.
Chuffed. Everything's going great. How are you?
Never better. Honestly, life is good at the minute, and it's just, this is nice. Really nice. Really nice. I love when hearts are like this. It's such a rarity. It's great.
I was listening to the Terrace podcast, and Joel Sked went, sometimes as a football fan, you often wish that you were aware of when you're in the good old days. Yeah. We are firmly in the good old days. In 5 years we'll be going, mine then. So enjoy it. Enjoy it now.
That's it. It doesn't last for too long, gang, so make the most of it while you can. Look, we've got two frankly brilliant fixtures to discuss. The first of which took place against Aberdeen on, what was that? Was that the Wednesday?
Wednesday
night?
Yep.
Wednesday the 11th. I'm trying to look through the other Scottish scores because I cannot for the life of me remember, and I realised that we should be going round the grounds. Lack of preparation. You can't blame me.
It was Wednesday the 18th and everything. You've not even got the date right.
There you go.
Listen, this is going to be the least prepped ever. We're just too excited, right? We're probably going to speed through this game a bit, unbelievably.
Yeah.
We're too buzzing.
It's all on the Derby. But elsewhere, I mean, Celtic beat St Mirren 4-0 and Rangers won 3-2 at Rugby Park. Nobody cares. Nice. Let's move on. Hearts. Hey. Robbie Nielsen made just the one change to the side that defeated St Mirren the previous Friday night. That was Friday the 13th. That's why I was getting confused. Yes. Andy Halliday missed out through concussion and was replaced by Cammy Devlin. Stephen Kingsley returned to the Hearts matchday squad after a period on the sidelines, meaning the Hearts lined up as follows. Xander Clark in goal, a back three of James Hill, Toby Civic and Kai Rowles. Midfield quartet of Michael Smith, Cammy Devlin, Robert Snodgrass and Alex Cochrane. And Josh Ginnelly, Barry Mackay and Lauren Shankland in the Hearts attack. McIver, as strong a team as we could name, welcoming Aberdeen?
Yeah, I think that in the formation that Robbie clearly wants to play, the 3-4-3-3-5-2-1-2, Christmas tree, whatever you want, this is our strongest for personnel. It allows us to have a left-footed left centre-half, a right-footed right centre-half, and a big fucking unit in the middle who just doesn't allow anything past them. The wing-backs are, Smith, yes, he's getting on. He is getting on, but I think this week has shown that he is better than Atkinson in pretty much every department. So he is our starting right wing-back. And Cochrane doing great. And the rest of the team at this point pretty much picks itself. So
Are you happy with this formation?
With this personnel, yes. I think it's annoying when we don't have, and by personnel, I mean defence. When we don't have this defence fit, we shouldn't play it. If we have to put Cochrane into the middle, if we have to move Smith into the middle, if we have to put Rowles out on the right-hand side, all that part, I think we should just play a flat four. But when we've got this defence, that Cochrane, Rowles, Civic, Hill, and Smith fit, I think this is our best system to play.
Even despite the concerns, obviously, as you say, with Smith's age and what have you, right back.
I think this, and again, I think this week, not only just Smith's performance on his own, I think in terms of historically, the two best teams out with ourselves in the Old Firm being so comfortably beaten, I think it shows that it is working.
This is my concern. I mean, I'm trying to eliminate all negatives just as early on. Just get them out the system, because it really is just a wonderful week to be discussing.
Only you could start with negatives.
But no, this is my concern, because say Hearts don't land Callum Patterson this window.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anybody else linked. Mm-hmm. That is a worry for me.
That's fair. I think
later on in the season, because I know that Smith, it could eventually take its toll. I don't know then if Nathaniel Atkinson is capable of coming in to replace him. Jury's still out.
I'd like a replacement for Smith in this window.
Yes.
Be that Callum Patterson or anybody else. I trust Smith in terms of when he plays, his fitness and injuries, I don't know if we can trust.
And then it's a bench option for versatility at both sweeper, right wing back if need be. Like if,
and I guess Halliday can play there.
But God forbid if we hit an injury crisis, as we tend to do, then I want that cover. But it's fine. Just get out of the way. I was just asking. This was perhaps one of the weirdest games of football I've ever attended.
This was the funniest game of football I've ever attended, hands down. I think I said on Twitter, from minute 1 to minute 90, it was just vibes. Like, it was just insane. I've never seen anything like it.
I hate that word. You know that.
Well, then I'm absolutely going to use it all throughout this fucking show.
I hate that, honestly. But the vibe that I took from it early doors was that, do you know what? This might actually be an even game, perhaps a tough test. And it certainly did not unravel at that whatsoever. Aberdeen had the first chance where Ramadani shoots straight at Clark from distance after a slack Snodgrass pass. But less than a quarter of an hour on the clock, McIver, and we take the lead from our first attack. James Hill's long throw ability has been built to high heaven. The first chance that he's had to take one, and it's flicked on by Kai Rolls. Despite everybody thinking that it's Josh Ginnelly that scored, it goes down as a Graham Shinney own goal. We don't care. Graham Shinney won't want it. And Hearts are 1-0 up with less than 15 minutes on the clock, McIver.
This is more a general point about the game, but I actually think, weirdly, this goal shows it the most. Aberdeen are minging. They are so bad. Because, yes, we'll speak about it. We didn't even play that well, and the scoreline happened. And this goal, I'm not saying we've got our own Rory Delap, where suddenly defences...
it's not like you to get carried away.
No, in the sense of, I don't understand how defences got so confused by Rory Delap's throw, because it was the same thing every time, but especially Arsenal especially always seem to just go, we don't know what's going on, we're not allowed to do anything. And that was like the Aberdeen defence. Shinney has time to like take a touch and clear it.
Get it under control.
Kind of throws his body at it. And all other Aberdeen defenders and midfielders just don't move. As if they went, how has he thrown that far? That's really impressive.
Mate, honest to God, you saying this, like, James Hill has knocked back Aberdeen. We know this to be a fact. Jim Goodwin spoke about the long throw in his post-match presser, and they still look absolutely bamboozled when it's into the box.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was just, I'll be honest though, I was obviously right up the back of the other end of the... I didn't know what was going on. I just saw the ball get thrown in, a Stramash, and then Gino start wheeling away, and it was like, okay, we're 1-0 up. I don't know how, but we're 1-0 up.
And again, it's right in front of me, but the traffic is so congested. Yeah. I just see the ball in the net, and I'm assuming that Josh Ginnelly scored.
Yeah.
No idea.
Delighted for him, even though it technically doesn't go down as his goal, the confidence he has just now. Gino's in the best form he's been in since he came to the club.
I mean, we'll even get to my thoughts with regards to his goal, but I think in recent fixtures, you can just see how he's developed. I don't know if it's this move with sort of hugging Shanklin centrally, because he has tended to kind of drift inside and then have Mackay.
He's basically been our number 9.
Yeah.
Shanklin's been playing like, as Andrew Petrie said in the press conference, Shanklin's been like a 9.5. Shanklin's been like just slightly off, whereas Gino's just been like, play me through. I'm currently got the confidence to be able to either run onto a ball or get the ball down and beat a man.
But that's what I was going to say. Like, he was, I don't think his crossing was ever shit hot. So it's no real surprise. I can remember saying that I like Josh Ginnelly through the middle as an alternative option. Now he has to play there pretty much, doesn't he? Rather than hugging that touchline and being sort of an out-and-out winger. Because I think his delivery's not the best. But we've certainly realised that he can finish in the past few fixtures, which we'll come on to. But speaking of finishing, I mean, it was to be 2 with less than half an hour on the clock. This goal comes so out the blue that Laurie Dunsire is talking about Hearts fans being frustrated with the backward passes in commentary. So much so, Toby Sibbick receives, just launches one up to the right flank where Michael Smith, who's rolling back the years, sneaks in behind Hayden Coulson. A wonderful first touch while the ball's still in the air. Opens up the body, and the right wing back uses his left foot to just bend beyond Joe Lewis into the Aberdeen goal. 2-zip, cruising, wonderful finish. And by the smug look on your face, I'm going to assume that you were delighted that Graeme Shinnie was given that own goal, because I'm going to assume that you did your usual and had Michael Smith first goal scorer.
So I'm really happy with the last two games, not just because of the results, but because I've won over £100 on them both. As yes, I did have Michael Smith as first Hearts goal scorer.
Price?
Oh, I can't mind, because I think it was like 22-1 or something like that, first Hearts goal scorer. So his odds have went down since I've been doing well off him. He used to be, I remember the days of 2018 where he was 50-1. I remember those days. They were class. Bring them back. But I think this is goal of the season.
So did I. I didn't think you were going to say that.
There's maybe another one that we're going to get to that I'll remember more, but we'll get to that. But there's two moments that make it. The pass from Sibbick is unbelievable. It's tremendous. So good. But for me, just that wee bit better is Michael Smith's first touch.
Oh, stupendous.
Because his touch takes it from, oh, that's a really good ball, let's see what we can do.
Oh my God, he's in on goal.
He's going to score, yeah. And again, I'm right behind it. So as soon as he took that touch, I was like, this is in. I just could tell by the way he opened up his body. I was like, if he shoots here, this is going in. Just amazing. Speaking about Gino, when you watch the celebrations back, I love how Gino stops celebrating with Smith when he sees Sibbick coming over and just points at him and goes, how the fuck did you do that? You just see him say that. Because I think, listen, we spoke last week about James Hill and these big diags, and Cochrane loves them as well. And Kai Rolls more likes his wee neat passes. I've never really known what passes Sibbick likes best. He's clearly just liking big 70-yard rakers, and I'll happily take that forever.
That goal is the epitome of Toby Sibbick's development this season, whereby he shut the critics out, tried to concentrate his football. Obviously helps when you've got that little bit more of an extended run in the team.
Yeah.
And he's just transitioned from, Bambi to Beckenbauer as far as that goal is concerned. What a ball. As you say, phenomenal first touch of Smith, and the finish. That finish is better than most of the Heart strikers that we've seen. Kicking ball up front for us for the best part of 2 decades.
That's his weak foot.
Exactly. Honestly, just like a fine wine, that man. Absolutely beautiful. And then we're in the ascendancy. Things are going well. The crowd are up for it. I honestly, there is something about nights under those Tynecastle lights, just really special. And a special player is Barry Mackay, who bagged the winner against St Mirren in his last Tynecastle appearance. He fancied making it 2-2, but he slides one just past the left-hand post in search of a third. But on 36 minutes, one of many a Willie Collum blunder arrives. And not only does he give a goal kick from a Robert Snodgrass in-swinging corner after it hits off Liam Scales, but the ball comes off Liam Scales' arm, hand. They later check for a potential handball, and then he subsequently points to the spot after it would have been given an Aberdeen goal kick.
Yeah.
You said to me off air that I'm an idiot, basically.
There's context to that, by the way, but we don't need to know it. It's fine. I stand by that statement.
And quite rightly so. How anybody can think that VAR should have been brought in when it was brought in is an idiot. And this isn't you, McIver. This is just...
That's fine. What I was going to say was, though, why are you complaining? Of all fans, of all clubs, we should not be complaining about VAR.
What do you mean, VAR to Midlothian and all that power?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been the
Oh,
greatest
Jesus.
addition to the Scottish game there's ever been.
Oh, God. Talk to me. You're an advocate of VAR. I wasn't thinking you out, but
And this was a great example of it being used correctly. A referee makes an idiotic decision and it goes,
Shot
no,
corner.
wait the now, go and check. He goes and checks and he gives a penalty. I can't believe that there was some Aberdeen fans suggesting this wasn't a penalty. Kai Rolls is about to head it back across the box and Scales just takes it away from him completely.
Yeah, diverts it.
And again, I'll be honest, right up the back of R or wherever it is, I just saw a stramash, so I didn't really see. But I heard.
No, I didn't think there was much in it when I first saw it.
But I heard people. The shout seemed to come from your bit that people were shouting handball. So I was like, oh well, there clearly is something in it. And then when they went to VR, I was like, well, a decent amount of people shouted for handball, and there was claims by players as well.
And thankfully, the officials did come to their senses. I just you just know at this point. You know as soon as it's given that there is only one outcome. Lauren Shanklin steps up, scores, moves on to 19 for the season with a big fixture looming. I mean, dispatches it superbly as well, can I say. Laces right through it, right in the corner. Great shithousery. Winds up the following.
He did it for
traveling
every
support.
goal.
Just a hero, an absolute hero. What a guy.
It's a real shame that penalties don't count as actual goals, isn't it? What a shame that is. Imagine how good
he'd be some player.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking clowns. It's a great penalty. I love how varied he is with penalties.
Yes.
There's an element of you get a reliable penalty taker and they end up having a system, so they go the same way. So you start to worry, well, keepers are going to second guess that. Shanklin goes in. I feel like Shanklin's never scored a penalty. I might be wrong. People will go back. There's enough of them to watch back. I can't remember the last time Shanklin went the same way twice.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't remember either.
Yeah,
I don't think there has. And usually it's right in a corner. I can't even remember down the middle either.
Yeah.
I know there probably is one, but in and amongst all that,
I feel like the Celtic one he scored after the retake was down. Oh no, I think that was to a corner actually. I was thinking in my head, was it down? I can't remember. But basically, it just is great to have him. It's great.
It is great. It is great. And as you say, I mean, if they did count, he'd be, absolutely flying by now.
Yep.
But obviously, that's not the case.
What a shame they apparently don't count.
Yeah, according to some. I mean, he's still got to tuck them away, but of course, nobody can recognise that.
It's fine. He didn't score a penalty in the next game that we'll speak about, so that's fine.
But 3-0 up, McIver. 36 minutes on the clock. I mean, like what? How did we arrive at that point?
Can we get to the next goal? Because my point on what you've just said is based within the fourth goal.
Well, we can. First of all, great touch from Toby Civic. Denies Miovski up the other end as the visitors go and
I know he's done that like in 2 big games, 2 massive blocks.
And he's always sort of just a man on a mission when coming back into the box as well. Sometimes if we play too high a line, he more than makes up for it. You don't realise how quick he is over 5-10 yards or beyond that. But as you say, Hearts fancied a fourth heading into half-time. They get they get one building out from the back. Snodgrass finds Smith down the right-hand side. Plays in Shanklin down the line.
Great ball.
Who centres for Josh Ginnelly, who just dinks Joe Lewis into that far corner. Another great move, topped off with another sensational finish. Hearts 4, Aberdeen 0. The halftime whistle is yet to be blown.
So, I've never really experienced this, but when that went in, most of Tynecastle just laughed. The response was, how is this happening? Because we hadn't played very well. There was a 10-minute period between the first and the second goal, where we could barely keep our foot on the ball, we couldn't string 2 passes together, we were losing it constantly.
Out from the back as well. My noise was us trying to build out from the back when it clearly wasn't on.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather us keep possession as well as we can higher up the park. That goes without saying. But at least the consolation is if we lose it high up the park, then we've got, acres of space to try and win it back to then get something going. You're not afforded that luxury when it comes to their final third. So that has your heart racing. But we seemed to get away with one, and thankfully we were clinical up the other end.
It was just so funny. It was like, this is great. Their ultras had left at this point. It was 25 minutes into the game. Some of them left. And at that point, I'm like, surely you stay just to make it worth the petrol. Like, come on.
Cost of living crisis and all that.
Exactly.
Oh, again, talking about Josh Ginnelly, this goal is just, the epitome of where he's at the minute.
Yeah.
Josh Ginnelly of 12, 18 months ago thrashes at that, and it probably hits the Aberdeen Ultras drum.
Probably.
If we're being honest.
Yeah.
Just come on, leaps and bounds, that boy. I've said it. He's been our best wide player this season, even when played through there. But surely, I see today Barry Anderson said we're opening talks with him.
Nielsen said that once January's finished, him and Snodgrass are opening contract talks.
Excellent. Oh, and actually, you saying that about Snodgrass there, I think Robert Snodgrass sort of summed up this performance. Because some fans were saying that he was great. I thought his passing was piss poor. I thought his passing was erratic.
In the first half.
All over the place. And it's so uncharacteristic because usually he's just such a neat, tidy ball player.
And then simultaneously, for 2 of the goals, he played a key pass in their involvement.
That's exactly what I was going to say. But I guess, what does it matter when, he's contributing, even if not directly claiming an assist? Honestly, a weird half, a weird game. And it would get even weirder, McIver. This summed it all up. So, of course, before we get on to that 5th and final goal, Shanklin was denied a second. The elusive 20 mark after hitting the beans. Smith, Ginnelly, Devlin, Mackay, all involved before Gino centres for Shanks to hit the woodwork. However, Hawaii 5-0 was to be blaring over the tannoy. And God, I have missed that tune playing. Cammy Devlin sends a ball up to Lawrence Shanklin, which is just aimless. Just a massive punt in the sky. He's fortunate to receive it back. It keeps going, persists. That's one thing that we cannot ever criticise Devlin for. His effort, his enthusiasm. Eventually sends a left-footed drive past Lewis. Maybe takes the deflection on the way through. He doesn't care one bit. I don't care one bit. Daniel McIver, Heart and Midlothian 5, Aberdeen 0. And as you rightly say, when Devlin is getting his second goal for Hearts, his first at Tynecastle, decides that he wants in on the act. This, to me, just speaks volumes about where Aberdeen are defensively.
Right, several things on this goal. Number 1, you can tell by the way that the squad reacted to him how together this squad is, how delighted they were for him, and that's amazing to see.
How much he wanted it.
Yes, exactly. Number 2 is that mid-celebration of this goal, my dad turned to me and went, I knew he would score because that's how weird this game is. I was like, even Cammy Devlin will score. And finally, me and my brother celebrated this like it was a derby goal. He physically jumped into my arms and we were going, as everybody else was like, yay, and clapping. Me and Kier were losing our shit. I was so happy that he did it in front of me as well.
Oh, of course, it's all about you.
Get that up, yeah.
I literally was thinking that. I've seen both his Hearts goals in the flesh, but
And you've had Benny score both his at your end.
That's
he's
true.
Your version.
Yeah, that's true.
So I've got Cammy at mine. So happy for him. He celebrated it like it was a derby goal, not just a meaningless goal at the end of a battering.
No, I know exactly what that will have meant to him. That will have meant the absolute world. He's been craving that.
Yeah. I'm so happy for him. I'm so buzzing. And it just put the cherry on top of the cake of the funniest performance ever.
It really did. I mean, even like latter chances, we could talk about like other opportunities or
Who
whatever.
gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? But what I was going to say was that this just capped off a wonderful evening for me. Never mind Cammy Devlin's goal. So 89 minutes, Hearts killed the game off. You know, it was done at halftime.
Yeah.
It was done after the second, really,
Yeah.
if we're being honest. But I watched the highlights back, and just as Jimmy Sanderson is mouthing off about
So was that.
Hearts keeping a clean sheet,
So was that.
we then looked to have conceded and tossed that clean sheet away. But Vicente Bizawan is ruled offside, despite Marley Watkins finishing his cutback. The goal doesn't stand. 5 goals, 3 points. Just brilliant. That and as much as I've been so anti-VAR, I was pissing myself. I was thinking, yes, it has been worth it. Introducing it 12 games into the season does make sense now. That was sensational.
As soon as it went, VR's checking for offside. I went, this is going to be disallowed because it's one of the games
I was just
where
going,
nothing
please,
went for
please.
them.
Thinking, please.
I was terrified Clark had broken his hand because Clark went absolutely ballistic at conceding and punched the post twice. And I was like, mate, I get it, you want to keep a clean sheet, but it's 5-1. It's all right. Calm down. And then it actually got disallowed. And I was like, if he's bust his hand on a goal that didn't even count,
Ahead of the
derby.
derby.
Yeah, but it was fine. Just an absolutely fantastic night. And they are apparently our main rivals for third.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. I mean, that's what, 9 points clear of Aberdeen in third now. They're sat in fifth. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Livy in fourth, who we go to on Sunday.
Yep.
Is that it? As good as done for you?
I think if we beat Livingston, yes.
I think if we even take a point.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe I should say if we don't lose. Just because I'm thinking in my head, they've got a game in hand. If they win that and they beat us, it takes it to within a point. I don't think Martindale and Livingston would be able to keep a run going as much as we would. But listen, you never know. Livingston clearly look like the team that will give us the most problems out of everybody because the St Mirren team, who are very well drilled, we took 4 points out of possible 6. No way are you about to tell me that Darvel are beating Aberdeen as we're currently recording.
Well, I was just going to get the Scottish Cup up, and I just see that Darvel are currently beating Aberdeen.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Jordan Kirkpatrick on 19 minutes. Wow.
Now, obviously, everyone will know what the final score was when we release this, but bloody hell. And speaking about Scottish Cup games...
Well, yeah, I was going to say, because David Martindale's leak, or the leak of David Martindale going absolutely bonkers at his Livingston players, is a must-listen. That man is a national treasure. What a hero.
That is funny.
But I was going to go on to the rest of the Cup, and I couldn't get it up. I just saw the scoreline there. It was just bamboozled. So, apologies. Stay with me. So... in the Scottish Cup, of course, the early kickoff on the Saturday was Celtic beating Greenock Morton by 5-0 at Parkhead. Countless other ties that I'm just going to run through, McIver. There was no real shocks, but it was just to get your thoughts on some of them. Arbroath 0, Motherwell 2. Dundee United beat Lowland League side Stirling University 3-0 at Tannadice. St Mirren progressed on penalties after a 0-0 draw after 2 hours against Dundee. And another side that progressed on pens were Partick Thistle, who got the better of League One leaders Dunfermline on spot kicks. Livingston, like we alluded to, actually fell behind away to League Two side Stenhousemuir, but recovered to win 3-1. Alloa lost to Falkirk 2-1 at a Recreation Park. Hamilton Accies got the better of Ross County on penalty kicks, 0-0. Perhaps the least surprising scoreline of the entire weekend. Kelly squeezed past Dumbarton late on, courtesy of a 91st minute goal from Jordan Jones. And 1-0 was also the scoreline as Rangers got the better of St Johnstone at McDermott Park in the late game.
I think the three main games that stood out to me were Stenhousemuir doing so well for a half against Livingston. Livingston obviously ended up turning it around and winning quite comfortably. But you could hear from that David Martindale outburst that Livingston were not doing very well at all. It was St Mirren Dundee, wasn't it?
It was.
Dundee just don't know how to score goals, apparently, including penalties. So maybe they are actually hard to score. But that was hilarious and funny, even though it was St Mirren benefiting from it.
I was about to say that there was no winner of that tie as far as Hearts fans were concerned.
It's still funny. And basically, I think, as you say, it was quite a boring round in the sense that everybody kind of just beat everybody, except for Hamilton beating Ross County. That's a big result for them. One that, we'll get to it, benefits us. But it just showcases how much of a shit show Ross County are. How far they've fallen, losing Reagan, Charles Cook and Hungbo is insane.
It really is. I think it's evident now for most non-Old Firm teams, perhaps with the exception of us, really. If you take out 2-3 players, you're asking a lot, unless you've got replacements directly lined up.
Yeah.
And it's appear that County don't. And I also see Jordan White's potentially even for a 6-figure sum to St John's.
What is that? What's going on?
Can't believe that. I mean, I don't mind Jordan White. I think he's all right. But
he's fine.
He's hardly going to bag you 15, 20 goals a season.
6 figures is insane.
6 figures is insane. But there you go. Enough about Jordan White. Speaking of teams that are Jordan White, we move on.
Hey!
Hey, you like that? Aberdeen versus Heart Midlothian at Easter Road. The third Edinburgh derby this season.
Yep.
The tie of the round when it comes to the Scottish Cup, although maybe not the scalp of the round. So from that match where we battered Aberdeen by 5-0, Robbie Neilson, unsurprisingly, stuck with the same team. Again, back three of Kai Rolls, Toby Civic and James Hill in front of Xander Clark. Robert Snodgrass and Cammy Devlin, the midfield pairing in front of them. Michael Smith on the right. Alex Cochrane on the left. Janelli, Shankland, Mackay in attack. Were you happy to see an unchanged 11, McIver, given that the Tinker man usually does like a wee tinker?
I was, and I found it interesting how split the fan base was before the game. I think when the team came out, everyone was like, yep, that's absolutely fine. But the one position that seemed to be debated about was, should we start Kingsley? Because Kingsley was back and has been, obviously, historically, fucking excellent in Edinburgh derbies. I personally thought, no, keep the unchanged. It's very harsh to drop anybody out of 5-0 when, but especially even if we're just going from the game itself, I was like, I'd rather have Kingsley come off the bench than what I saw a lot of people suggest is that we drop Civic. I'd rather have Kingsley come off the bench than Civic or Hill or Rolls. So I was delighted with the team. I will say we didn't speak about Aberdeen because I didn't give a shit about them, but the Hibs team, I was a bit worried in the sense of I would have rather this is before the game. I would have preferred having Stevenson at left back for Janelli to run on against Porteous,
undoubtedly.
Porteous in midfield, because it would have meant that their back four wouldn't have been as concrete. But I still thought that our team, if we turned up, we'd have no problems. I didn't expect to not turn up and have no problems. But from the starting 11, I was like, yep, very happy with that.
That's. Oh, sorry, mate. I'm just trying to get the Hibs team up, just as you say.
I think I can remember it if you.
It's all right. I've got it. So it was David Marshall in goal. Back four of Chris Cadden, Rocky Bashiri, Ryan Porteous, and Marianne Chabraya. Midfield three of Josh Campbell. What's the new fella's name?
James
Jago and Lewis Stevenson at central midfield, with Aidan McGeady and Ellie Yuan supporting Kevin Nisbet up front. Did that say Kevin Nisbet?
Well, this is the thing.
I'm just checking he was playing. Sorry.
So before the game, I heard that he might not be playing due to a bid from Millwall, and it turns out that was true. Because he was never there. So fair play. Enjoy Millwall, Kevin.
I know, Christ. Imagine that. You go from Easter Road, where there's next to no fans every week, to potentially the most hostile fan base in Britain every week.
You reckon what you do?
Good luck down there, Kev.
Yep.
But yeah, unchanged. In terms of the start, interesting to say the least.
That's one way of putting it.
Josh Campbell hit the woodwork after 6 minutes. Aidan McGeady scampers off down the right-hand side, but the midfielder's back heel hits the post. after he tries to catch Xander Clark out of the near stick. Lauren Shankland would try his luck from range after a Cochrane throw. But 9 minutes, McIver, before we took the lead. So obviously, just cutting however long it takes to make that breakthrough. Obviously, 15 minutes, not good enough midweek.
True. Yeah.
Now down to 9, so be interested to see what happens Sunday.
1-0 within 2 minutes as fucking we scored an own goal.
Scott Pittman.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh Janelli's filled on the right flank. Robert Snodgrass sends in the resulting free kick. I can't see shit from the south stand. There, I said it. I can't see anything. I assume it's Josh Janelli that shoots. I see the net bulge. Pandemonium from there on in. Crazy. Absolutely brilliant.
So, this was a bit unique. So I was watching on Hearts TV because I did you all a favour. Didn't go Easter Road and it fucking worked. So I'm never going back. But
meanwhile, I have to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. As was well documented online, there was issues with Viaplay and the commentary. So for this first 50 minutes, there was no commentary. It was just crowd noise. So I was having to just rely on that and see what I was watching. First of all, well done, you fucking idiot. Porteous in your last derby. Just let the ball go out, mate. Just let it go out or head it out. Why is he trying? I don't know what he's trying. To flick it over Gino's head and try and get round him in time to then clear it? Idiotic foul to give away. Gino's not got the ball at all. And then Snodgrass's ball in is so good because it's not deep enough that Marshall can come out for it, but it's not
in such a unique area.
Yeah, that Marshall goes, I need my defence to get rid of this, basically.
Yeah.
Rolls does really well to put pressure on Porteous, so Porteous can't cleanly head it, falls to Gino, and we're speaking about his confidence. I don't think he would have the confidence a few months ago to hit it first time
Not
like
a chance.
that.
Totally agree.
It's such a good hit. The way he keeps it down, low. If it isn't for Marshall in goals, hitting him on the back, it would come back out. It's hit so hard. Just an amazing goal. I went insane in my living room. You went insane in the stand. So undeserved up until that point, but they're the best.
Honestly, if this past week has taught me anything, it is I'm so thankful for when we're not at our best, but still score and win games. It's just that makes it all the more sweeter. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
You can dominate games as much as you want when you're supposedly deemed up against it or you're under the cosh. When the other side is in the ascendancy and then you just hit them, take it away from them, there is no greater feeling.
The best derbies are one where you either blitz them for 90 minutes or you're shit for 90 minutes and still win.
Oh, superb. But Hibs, to their credit, tried to come back, tried to cause us problems. Aidan McGeady looks to catch Clark out at the near post, but the keeper palms off to his right-hand side, prevents him from doing so. Josh Campbell heads wide when it looks easier to score after a McGeady cross.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Aidan McGeady is, I know he's obviously kicking on. What is he, 35, 36 maybe?
I thought he was 38. I don't think he is, though.
38?
I don't think he is. I'm finding out right now. He is 36.
36, there you
so
go.
In between the two that we suggested.
So, well, I said 35 or 36. But
true.
Either way, my point was, whilst the legs aren't there, he's not got that same blistering pace. I do still think he is a threat. I think he does carry enough of a threat. I thought he was the best player in the first half.
Okay.
But we pass up a great chance to make it 2-0, McIver. Hearts burn a great chance. Great chance. The wing-back's looking to combine as Cochrane crosses for Smith, but he just sends such a tame left-footed effort into the gloves of David Marshall. And that's one of those where if we don't take our chances later on, you sort of dwell on that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The pitch was a fucking shit show, right?
Easter Roads Park used to be all right.
It used to be quite good, and now it's an embarrassment. I have no idea what's happening. I think
Neither do they.
Yeah, exactly. I think Smith is worried it's about to bobble. so he doesn't want to put loads of power behind it because it could bobble up and he hits out the stadium. So I think he's almost expecting it to bobble, so he'll just guide it in, but then it doesn't, so he just kind of passes it to David Marshall.
I just that annoyed me. But again, like, I can't really criticize Michael Smith because I love him bits.
Yeah.
I want any other player really to just get some conviction through it. But in saying that, you know, a couple other opportunities, half opportunities really in that first half. Shanklin sends a left-footed effort from range over the bar. Lewis Stevenson balloons into the travelling support. But we go in at halftime, 1-0 up against the run of play, arguably. But what were your thoughts with regards to the first 45 as a whole?
I think I said that the biggest positive was that we surely can't play worse than that. Now, I have went back and watched the full game.
Oh, have you?
Again, because I always like to watch derbies without the kind of worry attached to it. Because normally in a game, when someone misplaces a pass, 9 times out of 10, you're like, oh, that's a bit annoying. Whereas in a derby, you're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. He's misplaced a pass. We could be
adamant that they're going to go up and score. Yeah.
So you can often, in the moment of a derby, be a bit more critical of people than they perhaps deserve. So watching it back, I think I can kind of go, right, Hibs were the better side, but Xander Clark only made one good save. That was really it. I will say, and again, this is a week of positivity, but I think an objective negative was Barry Mackay in that game.
Spot on.
He was so... I think that's the worst I've ever seen him play.
We've got a cheek to call Kevin Nisbet a passenger. I think the pair of them got a taxi to, I don't know, Shanghai or something.
I don't think he was a passenger. He was a fantastic addition to the Hibs team in linking up. Because, and it continued into the second half. I cannot believe how long he stayed in the park. I'll praise Nielsen's subs when we get to them because they were fucking excellent.
For the most part, they were very good.
Yeah.
Well, in this game, I wasn't a fan of the Aberdeen game, but we're past that.
The Hibs game, they were excellent. But I couldn't believe Mackay stayed in the park for that long. He was so bad. But you're thinking, if it's gone this bad, and Hibs cannot play better than that. That is Hibs at their very best right now. And we go in winning.
But in saying that, Hibs did come out all guns blazing, looking to immediately half the deficit at the start of that second half. Ellie Yuan, who I thought looked far more menacing on the right-hand side, up against Alex Cochrane, surprisingly, sends one into the middle, but Clark palms before Snodgrass can boot clear. I mean, Shanklin sends an effort straight at David Marshall again. He motors with the ball for ages, given he receives from Barry Mackay outside the Hearts box. I think that was the last pass Barry Mackay successfully completed, if I'm honest.
So, yeah.
And then Yuan shoots straight at Clark again after taking Cochrane on, getting the better of him. But there's a chance for me, McIver, that I want to... Well, it's not a chance as such, but there's something happens pretty much bang on the hour mark. And this, to me, just typified Hibs' performance. Ryan Porteous has a goal from range, right? It's a routine stop for Xander Clark. But this just sums them up. Like, you can have all the possession that you want.
Yeah.
You can register shots. Everybody wants shots ideally to hit the target because, needless to say, you want to score.
Yeah.
But if they're not in threatening areas, are they really of any importance, significance?
As I say, I think in this game, as a 90 minutes, Xander Clark made 2 good saves. Every other save, I would expect any level of goalkeeper to make.
Yeah.
Because most of them are, by the time they get to him, they've almost stopped. And it's like, yeah, Hibs can have however many shots on target you want. Yuan can do his skills where he doesn't really move past Cochrane.
He loves a feint, doesn't he?
Oh, he fucking loves a feint.
And then nothing come of it. Like,
why doesn't he hit the
final
byline
product
more?
just, I know,
Unbelievable.
That final product.
And I think a part of that was that Cochrane got booked early on, so Yuan knew that and was like, right, come on then, touch me. And Cochrane was like, shit, I can't touch him in any way. So that allowed that. Hibs, and again, I want to speak about it more in the final whistle, but it's like, well done. You at home kept the ball more than us. That should be a fucking minimum expectation in a derby. And they were celebrating that as if, like, Therefore, we've claimed the moral victory. Well
Honestly,
done.
I know. Football fans, really, what do you ask for? You ask for every player to kind of give their maximum effort and probably to dominate proceedings at home.
Yeah.
Really, if we're being honest. Hibs finally have that, and all of a sudden, everything else is just seemingly forgotten about. It's unbelievable.
It's insane.
Another routine stop was when Chris Cadden was the next to try his luck. But again, as you say, I mean, Clark bats it away with relative ease. But 20 minutes from time is the moment that we've all been waiting for. Oh, I was nearly in tears. James Hill sends in a wonderful long throw, cleared as far as Snodgrass, who sends it out to Hill on the right flank yet again. Another great, wicked delivery, but it's to no avail. And Hibs then look to catch Hearts on the break. Hammy Devlin wins it off Yuan. You see Hibs fans moaning for a foul that never arrives. Rocky Bashiri heads clear, but only as far as Lawrence Shankland, who plays a 1-2 with Stephen Humphreys off the bench, scoops onto the big man's chest, evades Campbell and Cadden, and the number 9 does what he does best, receives the ball, smashes beyond Marshall. The Hearts stand-in skipper gets the better of Hibs' club captain, and finally McIver. We've seen it. A striker that has scored 20 goals in one season. The best part is it's still January. He's become the first Hearts player of the century to score in his first 3 Edinburgh derbies. Poetry in motion.
Scoring his record-breaking 20th at the ground that he got his first. Some penalty, yeah.
Get the admin a pay rise right now.
I know. Excellent.
Great
Excellent. Work. Listen, I'll be honest. When Bashiri heads that ball away and shouted to touch it, I was shouting, let it go for a throw-in. It's fine. It's going out. I can't remember seeing a moment like that for Hearts for a real long time. And by seeing, I mean I got to watch it from outside of it, if you know what I mean. Because Kingsley's free kick at Hampden, I'm right in there with it. So I'm just losing my fucking shit amongst the fans.
The last one's probably Templeton at Anfield for me.
Yes. So that's exactly the one I was going to compare it to, where I'm watching on a screen. So I get to see every aspect of you lot losing your shit, Shankland doing, and I'm glad people have picked out on Twitter, doing the tribute to Robbo, doing the arms out wide, Civic shushing the fans, Snodgrass going mental, Devlin trying to pick up Humphreys and Humphreys laughing as it happens, because that's not the way that's meant to go. Just a truly iconic moment now for us.
Yeah.
As obviously we are younger fans to a lot of our listeners and to a lot of the fan base in general. This to me is the next 2 goals. This and the next one are going to be some of the most iconic moments I can ever think of. Just we've actually had it. We've seen a striker score 20. It's fucking insane. It's taken us this long, a quarter of a century and more. But just, and it's not even that it was a penalty. I love that Shankland did the Hibs fans. He did the VAR symbol and pointed to the penalty spot after the goal. And just all the criticism he got from Hibs fans, this made up thing that it's like, oh, well, they don't count as much. He goes, okay, my 20th will be my best goal that I've scored, period. It's amazing. And Humphreys, what an assist as well. Just a simple wee touch. Excellent.
Bosh. Perfect layoff in his path. I was at the derby with one of my good pals, and he reminded me of kind of John Sutton's layoff for Andy Webster.
Yeah.
Down that same end. It's got that sort of similar feel where the link-up is just absolutely pinpoint. 2 things for me with regards to what you were just saying there. First of all, I wanted us to win 1-0 and it to be the most controversial penalty of all time, Shankland to stick it away. That's just the way that I am. But secondly, I'm with you because, I mean, maroon tinted maroon tinted specs, summed it up better than me after the Aberdeen game than I ever could. And I took the tweet. It said there would be something wonderfully poetic about Shankland hitting the 20-goal mark this Sunday at the scene of his first competitive Hearts goal against the perennial victims of the last player to reach that milestone in maroon.
It is. There's times, right?
I never thought we'd see the day.
I know.
I really didn't.
There are moments where you almost think football's scripted.
Yeah.
Like the two that come to my head immediately there are Man United win the Champions League where Solskjaer scores a goal, and the Aguero moment when City win their first league, right?
Yeah.
There's almost moments where you're like, that can't have happened accidentally. Somebody's written that. And it does feel like that was, and we'll get to what happened later on. That also feels like a moment, one of them as well. But just, if you asked Hearts fans, who would you want Shankland to score against? How would you want them to do it? And in what competition would you want it to happen in? I think they would, every Hearts fan would say, Shankland to score at Easter Road to knock Hibs at the Scottish Cup.
Undoubtedly. He'd later get sent off, but we don't want to talk about that.
He would, but it's fine.
I mean, Rocky Bashiri leaping up after that challenge for his second yellow just tells me everything that I need to know. It's never a yellow card in a million years, and that man is a diving cheat.
I will say, because I genuinely do feel this, I hope he's all right, because that looked horrible. That I've watched it back now with Jordan's film as well. You see it. It's not been confirmed what it is. As somebody who's had right knee problems before, it is a pain that is ungodly. And I genuinely do hope. I don't want to sit here after we rightly gave out to Hibs fans about the Craig Gordon situation, and then for us to turn around and do the exact opposite.
Fair point.
I hope he's all right. But I saw, I feel really bad. I really do feel. I think it was, this is my story actually, who said Sibic is the defender that Porteous and Rocky wish they were. They wish they were this calm, cool, collected centre-half who can distribute the ball, but they're not. So they need to turn and rely on false things, fake hard man stuff. Yeah, all that part. I do hope he is all right, though. Not from a Hibs perspective, just from you never want a player to have
human
an injury
perspective.
like that. Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
Because Hibs are anti-human. Speaking of Hibs, Eli Yuan would hit the post, but as you just touched on him there, the icing on the cake. After going through a couple of minutes earlier, that man, he was a man on a mission. Tommy Sibic and Stephen Humphreys exchange a 1-2 in the Hearts half, and he just keeps going and going and going. Motors on. A heavy touch actually sets himself perfectly.
Yeah, it does.
Just dink over the on-rushing David Marshall. The celebration is, quite frankly, elite. And as he said so himself, it's just a cheeky chip, isn't it?
This is what I'm going to say first. To the people that booed him onto the park when he was substituted on at Tynecastle those months ago, and to the coward who was right at the back with me when Sibic and Cochrane were sat in the box after they both got sent off at Celtic Park earlier this season, was sat there, and he waited until Sibic went down and then shouted donkey at him because he wouldn't do it to his face. I hope that I like to think Sibic was doing that celebration to them as well, because
I think he is,
I think he is, and he's fucking right to do it, because listen, yeah, Sibic was really struggling, right? Sibic was really struggling before Robbie took him out of the team. But you support your own players. You never boo them onto a park. You never insult them when you're hiding behind a wall because they can't see you, because he's a man mountain, so you wouldn't say it to his face.
Isn't it amazing what happens when you get behind players?
Exactly.
Rather than berate them? Exactly.
That Zurich game made Toby Sibic. That night where everyone was chanting him and he's just went from strength to strength. He said himself a couple of weeks ago that he scored in the New Year's derby, but it was disallowed and he was gutted because he immediately started shushing them then as well, but then it was disallowed. I was so happy for him. Robert Borthwick said on Twitter, where it was like, that's going to be one of the most iconic derby goals ever. A centre-half, when we're down to 10 men, making a defensive block in his own box and then running 85 yards to chip it over their pensioner goalkeeper, who is nowhere near as good as they make out to be. He's been very poor in every derby we've played in so far against him. It's just, I was so happy for him. Yes, partly is because he won me 75 quid, right? But even take away that, I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was fantastic, and he so deserves that moment.
As you say, I mean, I was sceptical earlier on in the season, had my doubts, but I'm certainly swallowing humble pie now, and it tastes all the better knowing that he's proved me, many others wrong. Just well done, big man, and deserved your moment. A great finish in front of that barrel load of Hearts fans that were just going absolutely ballistic. Honestly, I love that celebration so much. Yeah. That is exactly the type of wind-up material that I'm after. And that's it. That's all she wrote.
They are fucking awful, man. They are so bad. What is the...
I was just concluding there, McIver, but on you go, mate.
Sorry,
I'll just pass it over to you.
I saw some folk on Twitter, Hibs fans, going like, Lee Johnson can't survive this two derby defeats in such quick succession. That's unacceptable. That's what all your managers do. All your managers get beat by us. That's your fucking role in this situation. There was a thread on Hibs.net, which has been doing the rounds, which is hilarious. Where
is it the one that Scars posted?
Yeah. Where a Hibs fan was like...
Glorious content.
The only... it's not a natural order. It's an unnatural order, because there is almost no other rivalry in the world where the clubs are this evenly matched in all other aspects, but the derby is so one-sided. It was lovely to see how angry that made Hibs fans. But just... they are terrible. They are so bad. And that is now... again, another little cherry on top of the cake. Obviously, you had the whole thing about you needed Nielsen to win a derby at Easter Road.
Yeah.
Not only has he done that, but there's a very high chance that he has now condemned Ryan Porteous to 7 derbies, 0 wins. Incredible. And he was instrumental to this loss as well, which just makes it all the sweeter.
It would be great to see Porteous, Nisbet just dash off in this window, and then they are done. Like, they are screwed.
Just amazing.
But he'll probably still keep his job.
And I get it. Weirdly, I get it, because
he's not the root of all problems.
He's a problem, right? He said after the game that we played really well, but inevitably we lose. That alone is a sackable offence, right?
He can come out with that and still be in a job at this time. What was this, 10-9 on the Monday night? We've not heard anything from down Loch End Way.
It's unbelievable.
What a guy.
He's hilarious and part of the problem, right? But Pep Guardiola could go in under that stewardship of that club and still not do much better.
Listen, Frank Lampard could be out of job soon. It's honestly, they are like the Scottish Everton. Eh? It's just like the managers supposedly can do no right, and yet they don't look at the fact that the board are killing that club.
I'm all for it.
It's great to see. So that was it with regards to Aberdeen with Hibs. We've got Livingston away at the Tony Macaroni on Sunday. I, of course, will not be there. I've vowed to never return. I'm still not going. I've still got the fear. But
the most Hearts thing would be have the best week of our lives, and then you beat 1-0 off a stupid thing.
It screams 1-0 Livy.
Yeah.
Like Jason Holt or Stefan
Omiyonga.
Yeah, Sunday.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking with regards to the weekend?
I would play the exact same. No, I wouldn't. I'd make one change.
Which would be?
I'd drop Mackay for Humphreys.
Interesting. I've seen a lot of talk of this online because I like the big man. I think we're going to have to try and shoehorn him in.
Yeah.
Particularly for obviously Aki's in the next round, given that Shankland will of course be out.
Yep.
What would you then do? Would you have Ginelli supporting the 2?
Gino in the 10. So don't change the back 3, 5, whatever. Just have, because just now it's basically been Mackay and Shankland just in behind Gino. I would just have, I would switch it from a 2 in behind 1 to a 2
1 in behind
with
2.
1 in behind. Yeah. So Gino just in behind in the kind of 10 drifting. Humphreys can go out wide as well occasionally. He's fine with that. and
He can
allowed.
shift the big fella as well.
He's so fast. It's unbelievable how
shift.
quick he is. So I'm fine with him kind of having a wide berth. Just basically saying to the three of them, just do what
Cause
you want.
havoc.
Yeah, absolutely. I would do
Score
that.
prediction.
I'm sticking with the draws because every time this season I predicted a draw, we've comfortably won. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Shankland will score, and I think who's that boy that keeps going, the left back that keeps going against us?
James Penrice. Oh no, Christian Montano.
Montano,
last time there.
Yeah, Montano always seems to score against us, so I'm going to go Montano and Shankland to get the goals. What about you?
Nice. I probably will go one each. I'd take one each. I don't think that's the worst result at all on that surface.
That's fair.
Yeah. Away to probably and possibly our nearest rivals for third.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the worst result. Although in saying that, I mean they've picked up 4 points against us. We're unlucky at Tynecastle. I think they'll be right up for it. I don't think a point's the worst result through there.
Fully agree.
But finally, we can conclude with the quiz.
I'm going to be sharing this because I'm not thinking about this kind of stuff at all.
Nobody is. I mean, this took me virtually all afternoon to create, and it's possibly the worst 5 questions you're ever likely to see. So my head's up my arse. I'm elsewhere. I don't care. We're living life. We're loving life. It's been a wonderful week. And this could be an absolutely shocking quiz. But we have got a true or false in there. Yep. We have not got a multiple choice for once. Don't know why I've done that.
Bloody hell.
But the other 3 are kind of general. And who am I?
See if one of these should be multiple choice. I'm going to kill you.
Interesting. Well, maybe I could have made this first one multiple choice.
Oh, God.
Sunday's 3-0 was Hearts' first win in the Scottish Cup at Easter Road since Christian Nadé and Gary Glenn scored the goals in a 2-0 victory back in January 2009. But what I want to know, McIver, is who was sent off for Hibernian that day?
2009?
Yes.
I don't think I could name you a Hibs player for 2009.
Should I get the team up?
choose. Yeah, do that because I genuinely was Kevin Thompson still playing for them then?
I'm not.
I like legitimately. I don't think I could name a player.
Right. Okay. Hold on a second.
Stephen Fletcher was away by that point.
Let's just have a look. Right. Okay. So the Hibs team was oh god, Macalambe. David Van Zanten, was it Chris Hogg?
Right.
Rob Jones, Ian Murray, Johansson, who I don't remember at all, Sol Bamba, John Rankin, Lewis fucking Stevenson,
fuck off,
Stephen Fletcher, and Derek Riordan.
Oh, Fletcher was still there. Interesting. Right. I'm going
Stevenson.
I was Lewis Stevenson fucking playing. I'm going with the law of averages, and I'm picking either Riordan or Murray, just because that's them. My initial reaction was Ian Murray. It'll be Riordan, but I'm going Ian Murray.
The correct answer, McIver, he wasn't away by that point, as you initially suggested. Stephen Fletcher.
What did they get sent off for?
30 minutes. I'll get the.
30 minutes?
30 minutes. Hibs were then dealt a massive blow to their ambitions when Fletcher was given a straight red card for a clumsy tackle on Christoph Berra.
Bloody hell.
There you go.
Fair play.
2009.
That's unbelievable.
That's wild. 14 years on. Jesus. But then again,
Stevenson's still there, flying away.
We draw them just about every year now, so...
Getting beaten in the Scottish Cup by Hearts still. Fair play to you, Lewis.
Without scoring. I mean, I wonder if they won the possession battle that day.
Exactly.
Moving on. I've kept on going with this sending off theme. Lauren Shankland broke the 20-goal mark before 2 yellow cards, meaning that he'll miss the match against Hamilton Accies in the next round. But who, Daniel McIver, was the last Hearts player to be sent off in an Edinburgh derby?
Who was the last Hearts player?
Yes.
Right. So, we've not had anybody this season. Apart from Shankland, obviously. Last season, Joe Neill got sent off in the semi-final, but that's nothing to do with us. Oh, God!
I was pretty proud of this question, to be fair, because I was struggling.
I genuinely don't know. I can't
for what it's worth, I got it wrong, just to say.
Okay,
I was
great.
doing my research, so
I'm going to assume surely we've had somebody since him. Right, I'm going to go with this. I don't think it's right, but I can't think of another one since. But was it Callum Patterson in the All-Star game?
that's what I thought, McIver.
I thought it was. Yeah, who is it?
But we had somebody afterwards. Blase Augustin on the 16th of February 2016 in our 5th round replay.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, he did. I was literally speaking about that last week, sorry, he did, when I was doing the Augustin quiz. He did.
There you go.
Yeah,
so
he got a double yellow.
He was in there last week, so let's move swiftly on because that game shall be erased from all our memories. True or false?
Right.
Sunday's match is the biggest margin of victory that we personally have ever seen Hearts win by at Easter Road.
Yeah, because it's 1997. So yes, true.
True. Hibs haven't lost a derby as heavily at home since January the 1st, 1997, where the Jam Tarts swept them aside by 4-0.
Yeah.
Nice. You are redeeming yourself, young man, in this quiz.
Come on.
You're off the mark.
1 out of 3. Yeah.
Hearts smashed Aberdeen 5-0 as Craig Brown was set to take over from Mark McGee as Don's manager back in 2010. Can you name 3 of Hearts' 4 goal scorers that day?
2010, right.
Yeah.
Kevin Kyle.
Incorrect.
Fuck. Right. How many chances do I get? If we won 5-0, give me 5 chances.
Right.
That's one already gone.
Right, okay.
Did you say January 2010?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Shit, I'm thinking of the wrong season.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
I thought it was 10-11 season. Right. So the 9-10 season. Callum Elliott.
Incorrect.
Fuck's sake, right.
You used up 2.
Eh.
It was the 10-11 season because it was December 2010. Sorry.
Oh, okay, so it could have been. So how the fuck did Kevin Kyle or Callum Elliott score that game? What the fuck is this? Right. By the way, it is still 1-0 Darvel.
Jesus. For what it's worth, Kevin Kyle started. Callum Elliott was brought on as a sub for one of the goal scorers that day.
Oh, fuck off. 10-11. Was Rudy here at that point? I can't even fucking remember. Was Rudy here at that point?
I don't know, was he?
I'm going to go with Rudy Scatchell.
Of course it was McIver.
Yes!
He bagged a brace that day.
Right. He bagged a brace. Right. I've got 2 more to go.
Well, I said 3 of the 4 goal scorers. So yeah, you've got three guesses. Well, yeah, two guesses from your 2.
Yeah. Right. I'm trying to fuck it. Temps was in that team. Temps was good at that time. David Templeton
is correct. He bagged the opener.
Right. Who else was in that fucking team? So the problem is,
you got 1 more to get.
I can
There's two remaining goal scorers.
This should have been multiple choice. This should have had a list of them all.
Probably.
I can only think of defenders in this team now. I'm like Andy Webster, but it won't be Webster unless he's scored for a fucking corner.
Andy Webster wasn't even in the matchday squad. So there you go.
Right, I'm going out on a limb. Novakovic
is correct. Very good, McIver. Very good. So David Templeton opened the scoring after 5 minutes. Rudy Scatchell scored after 9. Stephen Elliott then bagged one on 51 minutes.
Oh, I should have got Elliott, man. I said the wrong Elliott.
You did say the wrong Elliott. Before Scatchell on 58 and Novakovic wrapped it up on 78 minutes.
I'm buzzing with that. I am delighted.
That was impressive. So 2 out of your 4 heading into the Who Am I?
That's a success. I'll take it.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Right. So your Who Am I? I began my career in Belgium, where I was born, before signing for Hearts in Robbie Nielsen's first spell in charge. I scored my first and only Hearts goal and a 6-goal thriller back in October 2016. After leaving the Jambos, I returned to Belgium before being loaned to another Scottish side who the Men in Maroon have played recently. I would go on to play in France, Azerbaijan, Morocco and Bulgaria, one of whom I would represent internationally. Who am I?
I have a name.
I worry if I've made this too easy.
What was the fact about 2016, sorry?
I scored my first and only Hearts goal in a 6-goal thriller back in October 2016.
Right, no, it's no him then.
Who are you thinking?
I was thinking El Hasanoui, but I was like, was he...
With the old Morocco link. I think we signed him from Holland, was it not? Was it not Sparta Rotterdam or something? I can't mind.
Because that was the thing, I was like, was he Belgian, technically? Like, I scored my...
I suppose I better get this man's...
I was about to say, I need to think of questions. You've actually given me quite a lot in the clues.
I know, I worried if I'd made it too easy, but apparently not, so that's good.
I can't think of a single Belgian player that ever played for Hearts, though. Unless I'm being stupid and somebody's just got to, like, immediately say it. Right, tell me the clubs he played for.
Right, okay.
I think this is a waste of a question.
No, I worried that you'd ask this question because you should get it from here. Right, so CS Visé, St. Troiden, Hearts, KV Mechelen, Hibs, Beziers, Karabag, Muludia Ujda, Levski Sofia, and he currently plays for Visé in Belgium.
Right. Obviously, the only team I'm paying attention to there is Hibs.
Yes.
Again, I've got a name in my head, but I don't think he's Belgian. So I need to think of a question that I need to ask. I don't think this... If I have a name in my head, I'll say...
You did hear the last clue, though. I would go on to play in France, Azerbaijan, Morocco, and Bulgaria. One of whom I represent internationally. Yeah.
The only person I have in my head, I don't think has ever been associated with Belgium, though. And I don't know where he... I know he played for an African nation, but I don't know if it's one that you listed.
Okay.
This is not my guess.
Uh-huh.
The only name in my head, I didn't even fucking say his name, is Faisal Reyes, right?
Right.
That is the only name I have in my head. But I don't think he was associated with Belgium ever.
Okay.
So, right, I don't know if I want to limit it to a position. Because the... Oh. So he sorry, keep asking. What were the countries that he could have potentially represented?
I would go on to play in France, Azerbaijan, Morocco, and Bulgaria, one of whom I represent internationally.
Was Reyes Moroccan? But El Hasanoui was Moroccan, I think. Was he? Was El Hasanoui Moroccan? I think El Hasanoui scored another goal, though. I think El Hasanoui scored in the championship season, and he scored his one and only goal. I don't think Reyes ever scored.
This has got the cogs turning. I like it.
I know. I have no memory of Reyes ever scoring, so I'm going to discount him. He's fucked off.
Right. Okay.
El Hasanoui.
El Has is giving you a bit bother.
I know, because I can't remember what nation he plays for. I feel like El Hasanoui he got an assist in the Cow and Beef 10-0, but I feel like he scored against Livingston, which might be why you've brought it, because we're playing Livingston next. Oh, fuck off. I need to think of another question. Right. I hate you for this.
Oh, this is brilliant.
The Hibs thing is also... Oh, wait. El Hasanoui never played for Hibs. Right. So it's no him. The other name I had was Boozid, but Boozid didn't play under Nielsen.
I swear I used Boozid.
I think you have used... Oh, yeah, I guessed Boozid ages ago. Right. The second question is...
Yes.
When did he play for Hibs? That's a stupid question. Why have I wasted that?
He returned to Scottish football in January 2018, signing on loan for Hibernian. Oh, McIver. McIver.
The only other name I have in my head now is Danny Swanson, who is not Belgian, Moroccan, or French.
He's about as Belgian as we are.
Exactly. Right. I cannot think of anybody else. So even though I don't think it's right, I'm bringing back, he's coming back through the door, the wee prick, after loving it, doing what Noah Kenna did on Twitter. Faisal Reyes, if that's even how you say his name, come on down, I choose him.
And you've chosen him because that is the correct answer.
Yes! Get in! That wee prick has done
I can't believe that you were going to talk about El Hasnaoui or Boozy. I thought, I've got him. I've finally roped him in.
El Hasnaoui, was he not Algerian or something?
I think he was Moroccan as well. But
was he Moroccan as well?
I thought the fact that he played for Hibs would give it away. I was like, oh, that's easy.
But in my head, I was like, when did Reyes fucking scored for us?
Yeah, so hold on a second. I'm just checking El Has. El Has was Dutch Moroccan.
Oh, okay.
And Faisal Reyes. He scored his first goal for the club in a 3-3 draw with Inverness Caledonian Thistle on the 29th of October 2016. If my memory serves me, Bjorn Johnson scored twice for us that day.
Oh, damn, Ken.
No. David Raven and then Dumbuya put them 2-0 up. Johnson and Reyes pulled us level at 2 each before Aaron Doran, I think, is that?
Right.
The third goal. And then Arno Doom, 16 minutes from time.
There's a player.
There's a
player I can like and respect. And Johnson. I like Johnson.
I quite like Bjorn Johnson as well. But yeah, so there you go. Faisal Reyes.
9-5.
Oh no, I knew I shouldn't have been.
We're both in a good run here, by the way.
We are. We're running out of Hearts players.
I know.
How can we be running out? Exactly.
Even if we just use the last 4 years, it's been about 97. So.
But I just thought Edinburgh Derby theme played for both clubs.
Yeah,
I thought,
fair play.
I can't believe that. I literally thought I got away with it. When you said I'm putting him to the side.
I was so like, he's gone. But then I was like, I literally can't think of anybody, so I'm not going to say no because you've been burned by that before, where you just don't guess anybody. So I was like, if it's wrong, it's
you
wrong.
Discount somebody and just have another wild train of thought. The pressure it gets to you.
It does.
You just think, oh, I'll just shove a name out there and hope.
And this whole time I was thinking, I was checking the Darvel Aberdeen score. It's still 1-0 Darvel.
Oh my God. How long gone?
68 minutes.
Oh my God. Oh, thank God Tottenham have taken the lead. Because I was considering putting a Fulham Darvel double on. I've quite fancied Fulham at home to Tottenham. I thought, if that comes in, having not put it on, I will kick myself.
Bloody hell.
So hopefully Spurs can hold on. That's good news.
Fair
and hopefully Darvel can hold on and dump the Dons out. Cheery bye, Jimbo.
And I'll get 40 quid if they do, because I put £2 on them. Come on. £4 on them. Come on. Beautiful. Come on, Darvel. You lovely
bunch of Ayrshire men.
Yep, exactly. I couldn't remember where they played at all. But anyway, we hope you've enjoyed this shambles of an exciting, happy episode. It's been a lot of fun to do so. If you have, please let us know. Leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. It massively helps. If you've been watching it on YouTube, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. You can get us on social media at Perth to Paisley, perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email as well. Adam, where can they get you on social media?
People can find my Robbie Nielsen apologies all over my socials at Adam T. Kendall. And what about yourself, mate?
I am at DMcIver22. We'll be back next week on the eve of the January transfer window closing to discuss all the it's just there's too much. There's a potential Callum Patterson incoming. There's Livingston fallout. There's previews of 800 games that were coming up. It's going to be amazing. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Money Tees!